Hey everyone, and welcome to a milestone here at the Custom Apparel Startups Podcast. This is episode 100.
Century.
We're now a century old, and this is Mark Stevenson from ColDesi.
This is Mark Vila from Coleman Company, and today we're going to do best episodes and why. And we're just going to talk about things you need to catch up on. We're going to go down memory lane a little bit. We're going to do a lot of the fading out where we do a memory, where it goes into like a dream.
Oh, the dream sequence.
The dream sequence.
The hard part is going to be like, I used to have a full beard, and Mark Vila used to be clean shaven.
Well, I think the first thing we're going to do is we'll talk about the best episodes from the top episodes.
The top episodes. We're going to go through the top episodes that you guys seem to have enjoyed the most because you downloaded them. It could be just they have the best titles. Yeah. Because that happens too.
Yes.
Right? We have some amazing episodes that nobody ever listened to because we gave them ridiculous titles. But
and then we'll go ahead and we'll pick out some really good ones that are either, if you've heard them once before, you should maybe go back and listen again.
Yeah.
And if you've never listened to them, because there's a lot of episodes, right? We're at 100, and I know
there's almost 100 episodes.
Yeah. Right now there'll be 100.
Now there'll be 100.
And I know what I do with podcasts is if I just jump into a podcast, right? And they've already done 70 episodes. I usually will kind of scroll through and, that one, let me try them out. Episode 52 looks interesting. Yeah. I like it. And then now I want to hear the new stuff.
Yes.
And sometimes I've gone back and started at one and gone through, but a lot of times you're busy.
I'm almost always disappointed when I do that.
Yeah, and you don't do that with ours.
You should start it with at least episode 2. Episode 1 was a waste of time.
The purpose of this one is you listen to this, we'll go down memory lane a little bit, we'll talk about it. And then if you are that listener where you're just you're new or you're just picking and choosing, boom, here's the list. Take out a piece of paper real quick or favorite the episodes in your app, put them on your listen list, however it would be, and these are the important ones to go through. And then after there, you can decide if you want to take the journey and start at 1.
Yeah, we're going to make some personal appeals here because I think Mark Vila and I both have episodes that we really think you should be listening to and that you should follow, so we're going to get to those too. Let's start with the ones that you liked best, the top 10 from number 10. We'll kind of build up.
Yeah, okay.
We'll kind of build up.
I really don't like a top 10 list where they start with 1.
No, because then it's really just the top. I just leave. So I like this one because this was your idea, Mark. We've got tons of customers that come to us that have a Cricut. They've got a home-based cutter. They're using it for hobby work or like a new, a burgeoning t-shirt business. And episode 90 was your Cricut-based business next steps.
Yep. So if you're listening to this now and you have a Cricut or a little hobby cutter, and really this episode is the same for if you have a little hobby embroidery machine.
It's true, a home embroidery machine.
Yeah, a home embroidery machine, or if you've got a hobby style screen print setup. Whatever it is, if you've got a small little one that you got from a craft store, and you want to go to pro, that's the episode to listen to. It's just the steps and how to do it. Yeah,
and really, I think we did a great job in laying that out. And that is the newest episode on our list.
Yeah, and actually, that one soon will overtake probably number 1 eventually, just from the time.
Yeah.
Because that's episode 90. Right? So it's a fairly new. It's only not 10 episodes ago.
And also, one thing that we're doing with all these episodes is we're putting transcripts in, and we're going back historically and putting transcripts in all the episodes up until now. So episode 90 is one that we've got a long transcript there, so you can pick through it and find the good stuff if you want to.
Awesome. So the next one, number 9.
Yep. This one's yours as well. You've got the top episodes.
Lessons your kids can teach you about owning a business.
Yeah.
I love that episode.
Me too. It's all about like the tantrums and begging for food.
And actually,
your homework.
I'm going to give everyone a little insight.
Okay.
I put that one on the ones you should listen to, so we don't have to talk too much about them now. We'll talk more when we get into those.
I remember that Ella was the inspiration for that video, that recording.
Number 7?
Number 7 is episode 84. And by the way, you can go to customapparelstartups.com or caspodcast.com. go to the podcast page and just type in the episode number, and they'll pop right up.
Yeah, if you hit search, and right on the website, hit the little search in the top right, and just type in the number, it'll pop up.
So episode 84 is good, better, best pricing sales strategy. And this is one of those things we talk a lot about, and we're both going to go into kind of our favorite episodes. But part of what we're trying to do here is make your existing business better.
Yep.
And that good, better, best strategy, the idea is that you present your potential customers with those 3 different options. Say, this is a good option. I don't do the cheap stuff, so here's a good option. This is a better option that most people pick, but if you really want to think outside the box and go with something great, here is the Nike polo with the, 3D puff embroidery on the shoulder and the collar tag and,
all that.
All that stuff. It's really like, offering them the Cadillac of what you can do.
That episode could have also been named, how to start making more money right now with your existing business.
I think we've got like 5 other episodes that are named that.
And that's what it could have been as well, which is I like about that. If you're listening this for the first time, which you might be, part of the reason you're probably listening to this is because you want to make more money.
Yeah.
And that is one of the biggest struggles that we read about in the Facebook group, and when we talk to customers on the phone, and when we meet people who are purchasing new equipment, they're trying to figure out how do they get more money out of these sales.
Yeah.
That they don't want to be undercut anymore. Nobody wants to be undercut on price.
Right.
And that episode is about how to do that.
And I have to tell you that just so we sound smart.
Okay.
Is that episode was inspired because we read an article in the Harvard Business Review.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was your episode, actually.
No, actually, it was Scott Coleman's episode.
Oh, okay.
Because he came and said, here, read this, and do a podcast about it, I think.
Yeah, great then. So, number 6?
Number 6, you're going to have to keep track of that, is episode 81, Today's Best Marketing Opportunity.
7. It's actually 7. We're out of order
10,
here.
9, 8,
10,
7.
9, 8, 7.
They're not listening anyway. Episode 81 is basically all about Facebook opportunities. It's our guest episode with Manuel Suarez.
Yeah, I listened to some of his podcasts about Facebook marketing when I was really trying to learn some new things. I just wanted a new perspective, and the guy he talks fast.
He's a dynamic
guy. He's got a million things to say, and he was just. I listened to his pod, and I was like, man, this guy's like an interesting character, and he knows a lot.
Yep.
Let's have him on, and he was very gracious to come on and just fill us up. And I would say he put 90 minutes worth of information in like a 50-minute podcast.
Yeah, if you're an avid podcast listener, you're using an app, a lot of people will listen at 1.5 times or 2x speed.
Yeah.
You need to listen at 0.5 speed in Manuel's episode. But that was a really good one. Facebook marketing is really important, is really a very important and effective option for you to look into. That's the episode to do that with.
Good.
That is episode 81.
All right, so number 6 on the list of most popular.
Yep, is episode 73. Copyrights and trademarks in the custom t-shirt business.
Yeah, and I think both of us agreed that this is an episode from our pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Seth Garden-Schwartz is an attorney, a patent and copyright attorney. He specializes in IP, intellectual property, and he came on and participated in that episode with us and just laid down all kinds of great information. Because we get that all. I mean, honestly, like I see pirates on the Custom Apparel Facebook group all the time.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, we have had some customers that just growing, and then boom, gone.
Millions of dollars of business just evaporating
because
overnight.
of not doing things the right way.
Yeah.
And it's important, and we've talked about it, it's different, you make a shirt for your friend, for fun, and versus putting something online that's just a blatant, you're not allowed to do it.
Yeah.
And guess what? I didn't know never works.
Right.
As an excuse. So it's a good one to listen to.
And Mickey Mouse with an M-I-C-K-I-E that's not enough. That's not good.
So number 5, we're halfway through the list.
Okay.
12 steps to grow your home-based business.
And that is episode 85.
Yeah.
We did that. Did we do that right around the time of the, so we know that a lot of you out there are starting a home-based business.
Yeah.
Or you're in one. We've got customers that have been in business for 5 or 10 years, and it's still a home-based business because that's the way they want it. So these are literally 12 steps. I think Mark Vila is responsible for 10, and I did 2. These are 12 great steps to kind of walk you through that growth.
Yeah, and so this one, it goes alongside with that cricket-based business next steps. Like they're different episodes, but they're a similar theme.
Yeah.
And I think that I remember just going back and reading some notes on that episode. It's just great for growing your business in general. So if you consider yourself still kind of small, even if you've got a little shop, go for it.
And plus, it's got the word steps in it.
Yes.
And people love that.
People love
so,
steps.
You know, we
do
love
more
steps.
episodes with steps.
We're going to use stairs a lot.
So number 4 on the list of the top 10 most listened to.
Yeah, episode 86. That is what success looks like in DTG printing and more. That is our friend Mark Boletnikoff. We actually had a longtime customer. He's got a DTG print shop in Erie, PA. And he's the owner and operator of contract-dtg.com. Basically, he's what a lot of our startup customers want to be.
Yeah.
Right? He started years ago with a direct-to-garment printer, and now he's got a big business and does corporate level fulfillment for a lot of big names in the industry.
Yeah, and
right?
he really gives away. Not secrets, but it's just like it's very honest.
A lot. Yeah,
it's very honest and just like
cons.
what you got to do, you know. And he says, you know, how you got to fail in the beginning and how you got to learn your craft.
Right.
And that's something we always preach about is that like learn to use how the dang printer, you know, learn to use how your embroidery.
Yeah, he was very blunt.
Yeah,
if you want good advice that will probably hurt your feelings, call Mark.
Yeah, and that was probably my favorite part in that episode was him talking about that.
Yeah.
And because it's so relatable to what we deal with all the time, and how he said he's like, you got to learn how to use a DTG printer. You know, you got to be a pro, and he said he took months.
Yeah.
You know, of just trying to learn it and be a pro
before he took his first job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also you get the added benefit of I think it's one of either 2 or 3 episodes when there's 3 marks on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. That's probably why it's so successful.
Well, we're in the top 3 right now.
Yeah, now it's getting good here.
Yeah, it's getting good.
Episode 83 is another guest post.
Yeah, so this was insights from the Apparel Geek. Monty Mims from Sanmar, another good friend of ours from the industry.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate for him to live not far away from ColDesi.
Yep.
And he knows a ton about apparel. And every time I think I know a lot about apparel, I ask him a question. And
he lives and breathes blank t-shirts.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, like, we learned so much from that episode about like the difference between, you know, even wash instructions for performance wear and cottons.
Yeah.
You know, the state of the blanks industry, how to handle and inventory blanks. I mean, just kind of that deep knowledge. And he represents Sanmar very well because they're our key blank supplier, and we work with them because they're so smart.
Yeah.
You know, they really are. They're smarter than us in materials and teas.
Yeah, and one of the things I liked about that episode is like he took apart a little bit of the classic just mistakes or thought process or misnomers people do. Like it's 100% polyester and white. I can sublimate on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I mean, kinda, yeah. But it's not meant for that, and that's why it doesn't work in this way.
Right.
And so many mistakes from people who have been in the industry forever, and still using the wrong apparel and dealing with a lot of frustrations, and they figured out ways to get around things not working for them.
Yeah.
And when really it's just if they would switch apparel,
pick a different shirt,
you'd be much better off.
Yeah. So we're gonna put Monty's home phone number in the show notes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so number 2 is episode 87. Apparently, just like me, the 80s were an awesome decade. Okay, so episode 87, number 2. What to do when bad things happen. I'm also seeing another theme here. That these are all your episodes.
I thought that was your episode.
No, definitely not.
Oh, I thought that was yours. I like this one.
Yeah.
I thought this was a good one. Because we talk about it in a lot of episodes, but this episode is just about that.
Yeah. Because the theme of the episode is bad things are going to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Yep.
deliveries aren't going to come in, the wrong color shirt, the wrong fabric shirt, your printer, your embroidery machine is going to bust, your kid's going to get sick, there's going to be a flood or a tornado. If you are in the business, if you're in any business, bad things are going to happen.
And I think we even go into some life lessons in there because bad things are just going to happen
everywhere.
Life. You're going to get sick, you're going to break your hand, and then you're going to have to figure out a way to deal with your heat press for a while. So it's what to do when bad things happen. I'm glad it's on the top that people are paying attention to
Me too. I mean, they don't happen to me. I just want to clear that up. But they do happen to a lot of people.
They happen to people around you.
They do.
Which is
I'm usually the cause.
About you.
All right, so number 1 is episode 76, how to build your online store the right way.
Yeah, the right way.
Yeah.
Good episode.
It was a good episode.
Yeah, good episode. So we run an online store here.
Yes,
right?
A big one.
Yeah,
I just got to say, there's how many products is it? Is it 5,000 yet?
Something like that,
It's about to be a lot more.
Yeah, and it was there. Actually, we took out some product lines that we no longer carry just because the number was so big and things weren't moving. So, if you want to sell T-shirts online, there's a million ways to do things wrong and make mistakes and give yourself more work.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, we've learned so much here on doing things one way forever and then realizing, if we switch this, so hopefully this can help you learn some lessons. I mean,
really,
away.
if you want to be in the online space, then I definitely listen to this episode because we do have a lot of experience in this area, and this episode is going to be a great source of information versus polling the people in any given room you might walk into.
Yeah.
Which is usually how it happens.
Yeah.
You poll your friends, you go into the group, you ask strangers in a Starbucks, does anybody know how to run an e-commerce store, or what do you use? Do you use Shopify or WooCommerce? Everybody's got an opinion. Mm-hmm. What we do in this episode is kind of lay out some ways that you can make a good decision.
Yeah, and that episode was over 2 years ago.
It was?
Yeah.
It seems like it was yesterday.
So. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 1 year ago.
Episode 76.
1 year ago, episode 76. But I'll tell you what, if I went back and listened to it, I bet in this past year, we've learned so much more. So I think we could do another one like that.
We will, and since it's our most popular, since you guys like this episode the best,
yes,
maybe we will do more, only next time we'll say how to build an online store the right way now.
The correct way.
The correct way. I like that.
All right, well, so that's what other people liked. So if you haven't listened to stuff, those are the episodes that other people liked. They liked them for a reason. Probably because of the titles.
Yes.
But
sad but true.
But I agree. I agree. This is good stuff. So now we handpick some episodes.
Yeah.
These are the ones that I think we both think. We both pick some, but these are going to make you more money. These are going to make your business better.
Yeah.
So let's go right into it.
And they're kind of like so. We've got a couple that are sets, and I think there's a theme there.
Yeah.
If we think a topic is very important. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot to say about it, a lot to tell about it, then we'll break it up into separate episodes.
Yeah.
Right? Or one episode will lead to another. One of the series that I like is we've got a series on upselling. And it starts with episode 67, which is how to add dollars to every sale. So most people don't get into the custom t-shirt business or the embroidery business or the promotional products business because they like to sell stuff. Right?
Yeah.
You guys are most of you are makers. You really enjoy the process of making a custom shirt, making somebody happy, and I love that. So what you can do so you don't have to spend as much time finding new customers, hitting the road, thinking up new designs that might catch somebody's attention, it's ways to help your customers see the reasons why they want to spend more with you.
Yeah.
Right? Which we call upselling.
Yeah. And a lot of times sometimes it's just so simple as they were going to spend this money elsewhere on a product that you could have sold them.
Yeah.
And that's like the easiest stuff
right
there.
I'll have to give you the classic example because the first ones to do this ever was McDonald's.
Okay, yep.
Which is they taught all of their employees at the cash register to say large, supersize it. So every order that they took, the average sale price went up to the tune of billions of dollars across the world just because their people asked an extra little question.
Yeah, and I think they started with offering fries with everything.
Yeah, do you want fries with that?
And then I think they turned it into a meal. So they just made an assumption, like, well, you definitely want fries and a drink.
Then it was supersize,
then it was upsell, and they're always thinking of a different way. Now they might do. I've seen the signs like add the apple pie. So they continue to add more things. They know you're going to eat. They know that if you just have a small cheeseburger, you're probably not very full.
Yeah, you're going to regret it.
You're going to want more food sooner than later, so they sell you the fries too, and you were going to buy that food elsewhere.
And notice how attractively they put it. They just say, more cholesterol?
Yeah.
No, they don't say that. So there are 3 episodes in this upselling series. I highly recommend it. How to add dollars to every sale, which is more about when you make that initial sale. Then there is re-upselling, making the most of current customers. And that's ways to sell more to clients that you've already got on the books. And there is the Science of Upselling, which was a 100% Mark Vila episode because you read a book.
I did read.
I remember that.
I'm trying to remember what book I read.
I think it was called The Science of Upselling.
It might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. It was good. It was good. It's been a little while. I think I listened to that book, though, actually. I listened to a lot of books. So, all right, so the upselling, 67, 68, 69, a great combo of episodes to listen to, especially if you're not upselling right now.
Right.
If you're taking orders.
Which most of you probably are not upselling.
Yeah, and if you're upselling, you're not enough.
Yeah.
Not well enough. And I'll say why it's not enough is because you've got to reach like that breaking point. And you got to do like with what McDonald's did, where it's like at first they're just trying to add fries. Then they want you to make it a bigger order. Then they want you to add the apple pie, and they're offering everybody, they're getting to levels, and they're also training their customers. So at first it's just adding the fries.
That's a great point.
And then it's making it a meal, and it's commonplace that when you order at these fast food restaurants, they want you to order a number. Everyone does it.
Right.
Get a number 6, number 5. Plenty of restaurants do that. Chinese restaurants do that.
Yeah, and there's a reason.
Yeah, so there's a reason for that. So when you upsell more often, you're going to train your customers actually to normally come to you. I want the shirts and the hats.
Yep.
And then you'll also train them. What else you got?
Right.
They'll start asking you. So
I love that.
Another one, it's really about making more money too.
Okay.
It's making more money make more money next month.
Yeah, we did a nice. I think this is the set that I steer people to most.
This is you.
Crew.
These episodes.
It's true. I really love this. I really love doing this.
I love them too.
It was a long time ago. The last time I had a good idea. Episode 29, 30, and 31.
Yeah, that was a great combo because every episode had multiple action steps that it's like you do this, and do this, and then you're going to make more money next month.
Right, and that's in response to. So there's a lot of different ways that you can look in your business at your business, but most of the things that you do to change your business, you change your marketing or advertising, or you plan to go to another show. That's all marketing stuff that will help eventually and over time. This is more urgent.
Yes.
Like I need to make more money next month, not. So these are the most useful podcasts if you need to get something done right now.
Yeah, and it's different than, say, how to build an online store the right way. Because building an online store is gradual growth. You build it, you get things right, you start advertising it, et cetera, and then you get this nice chart that goes like that.
Which is awesome.
Down, slowly, gradually up, and then starts spiking, and then you're winning.
Yep.
But to make more money next month is like grassroots type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like taking some business cards and a sample and meeting people and going and do things.
And in a non-threatening way. So we carefully named these episodes so you would not be scared away. Episode 29 is creating active word of mouth. Okay, so because most of you make your money from word of mouth referrals, this is an active role in that. Small business phone skills. We're not talking about dialing for dollars. We're talking about answering the phone appropriately, right? And also using email for profit.
Yeah.
And really the point behind that last one was A lot of people don't want to bother their customers with emails. And we spend basically 59 minutes telling you to stop that.
Yeah, stop that.
Yeah, stop that.
If they don't want your email,
they won't open it.
Yeah,
they won't
they'll hit
read
delete.
it.
They'll hit unsubscribe.
They won't accost you at the mall.
They might.
They might. But,
You
but
emailed
probably
me
not. Probably
twice.
not. In the tri-state area, it could happen, but not here.
All right. So let's see. The next one we've got on the list here, episode 86.
That's we already talked about episode 86 because it was one of let's talk about it some more.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So this is what does success look like with Mark Bolitnikoff.
Yeah.
And it's important to listen to episodes like this, and really, if you're in the group, the Facebook group, and you interact in there, to listen and pay attention to what people who have made it do right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that is hard to do oftentimes is, you started this small business, you feel great because you've made it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You actually own commercial equipment,
right?
And maybe you have a little storefront, or you're making profit, and you've built this thing that you've got a lot of pride in it. It's really hard to stop yourself and look and see that you might be still doing some things wrong.
Yeah.
And especially if you haven't reached what your dreams are yet.
Yeah.
And then there's something you could do better.
And there are definitely like levels of business. Like, you may be satisfied where you are, and that's fine. But, if you want to grow to be big or to get to the next level, then you're not going to do that by listening to people that are at your level or have just started. And a lot of those people are very vocal with their advice and their input, which is great. They mean well, and you can learn some things. But listening to a guy like Mark or hearing the three of us talk about the business itself, go through a Q&A, man, there's some gems in there that could really make a difference.
Yeah, and how I think about it is I'm not interested in say like cooking advice. I love to cook. I cook tons of things. And this weekend I made homemade pasta sauce.
Okay.
And chicken parmesan. It was amazing.
Nice. Didn't bring me any, but that's okay. I don't feel bad.
Next time I will.
Okay.
But I love to cook. I watch cooking shows on TV to kind of learn what they're doing differently.
Okay.
I
like that.
And sometimes you'll have friends and neighbors kind of give some advice.
Yeah.
And although I appreciate and I kind of listen to that stuff, that's not really where I want to get my advice from.
Yeah, I've had your macaroni and cheese, Steve, and it's putting ketchup on the Kraft box is not,
And it's also just when they give you some advice, and if you listen to pros, right? So if you listen to episodes like this, and you read articles online and all this stuff, and you listen and you hear what the pro's doing, then you have somebody that's on your level or below, or you don't know where they are.
Yeah,
actually, is another thing.
Yeah, typical.
Say something that's directly opposite of what the pros say.
Right.
So somebody will just say, "Oh yeah, when you're going to cook, do this."
Right.
And I'm like, well, I've heard 2 or 3 chefs say not to do that.
So I'm not going to do that. Yeah.
So listen to the pros, and also don't let somebody give you some like confirmation bias by telling you something that you do. I'm like, oh, he or she, they do it too. Right. So it's good. Like I continue to do that. I know Mark Bolitnikoff said to do this.
If 3 people who don't really have a clue think you're doing it perfectly, that's not nearly as valuable as one guy that does know. Yeah. Right.
So it's an important episode to listen to, because you're going to take some things away that are going to change the way you do business.
Yep.
He talked about the flow of his business, of how shirts go in one way and come out another, and that's something that he learned in his career.
Yep.
In a different career, and he brought it into this one, and I see all the time, things online. You see pictures of people's shops and things where everything's all over the place. There was no purpose thought.
Right.
It was, I've got room to put this here. I'm going to put it here.
and the impact on your business is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that is episode 86. That's the second time we've recommended that one, so I definitely listened to it.
Yes.
The next one is episode 73, which is, again, it's a repeat, Copyrights and Trademarks with Seth Gordon Schwartz.
Yeah.
So in spite of having a slightly difficult last name to pronounce.
Yes.
It's a great episode from a utility standpoint.
Yeah.
Like he will tell you the variety of ways that you could probably get in trouble.
Yeah.
And you don't want that because it's a deal breaker. If you are subject to some kind of a legal action because of copyright or trademark infringement, you can't win. Even if you don't have to stop making the shirt or your design is okay because it's different enough, then you still lose because you had to spend the money defending it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's never worth it.
Yeah, I like how he went into how everything, it's a gray area. And really he knows it, that the ones who win in this situation are the attorneys. The attorneys win. So having this type of knowledge at least puts you in, I consider it like a risk reward type of situation.
Yeah.
Where you say, okay, I'm not 100% sure here. Is it worth paying an attorney to look into it? No. How much money will I actually make from it?
Yeah, not a lot.
Probably not worth it, because am I going to get busted in trouble? Whatever. It seems unlikely, but if I do, it's going to be totally not worth it.
Here's my favorite conclusion from that whole episode is that if you ask someone if something is trademark or copyright infringement, even on our Facebook group or anywhere, and they give you an answer, they're wrong. Okay, there's no way. If somebody says I've been making shirts for 20 years and I know this is the thing, no, he doesn't. He may not have been, he may have gotten lucky, or maybe somebody saw it and just didn't care, or he may be operating on knowledge that's 20 years old. So if someone tells you what the percentages are for change and all this stuff, they're 100% incorrect.
Yeah, definitely wrong on that. And an example of something like this, is we purchased some music from a company that sells music for background for videos.
Okay, yeah.
And so we purchased it in the right way, and we ran them on YouTube forever.
Yes.
A couple of years. And then one day, some ads are popping up over our videos. And we're like, how are ads here?
Wait, when you purchase music or images from a reputable service, you get the license to use it in specific ways or in any ways that you want.
Yeah, and similar to buying fonts or art.
Yep.
They tell you you're allowed to do this and not this.
Yeah.
And so we went and we looked it up, and we're like, no, it says you can use it for a YouTube video to advertise a product, or whatever it was. So we're like, we're doing it the right way. It just happened to be that one day YouTube caught onto it. Some software found it, or a person who watches and checks these things, who knows, and then they said, oh, this is a song we're allowed to put an ad on over, playing in this video, so boom, ads pop up. It'd been a year. Yeah. So, we could have just said, oh no, I've been doing that a year. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But one day it caught up, and then it just happened to be that the company we purchased from wasn't obtaining their license correctly.
Right.
So we swapped out some songs, and bought them from somewhere else.
But in the meantime, we could have been running competitors' ads on our video.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah. So just because it's always been that way doesn't mean that it won't change, or doesn't mean one day you could get busted. And just like the folks who were selling tons of T-shirts and all of a sudden get sued and they're out of business.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing it forever. They were doing it for years, I think. I don't even remember how long.
Right.
But they got in trouble, and you lose in the end.
Well, here we go. I mean, we're back to the favorite episodes. These are in the 90s, which was clearly your decade.
Yep.
So tell us about the Beat the Competition trilogy.
So these were like just last week, but we put a good amount of thought into these, and they're very current, and I like them, and it's a bit of to me, it reminds me a lot of the Making More Money Next Month.
Right.
It's these things that there's a purpose to each episode, and it's about dealing with the same type of issue, is that you're concerned about your business going out of business, or about not making as much money, or or never being able to break a threshold because you've got competition out there. So we broke it down into 3. One is evaluating your competitors. That's episode 96.
Yep.
Right. So really important to understand: are they actually your competition?
Right. If you drive down the street and you see a sign every day on your way to the shop that says custom T-shirts from $7, they may still not be your competition.
Yeah, and
don't get psyched out.
It's like McDonald's and Outback Steakhouse. They
both sell meaty stuff.
They both sell meat foods.
Yeah,
are what they're famous for. Are selling meat foods, and a lot of people eat at those places. They're very famous restaurants.
Yes.
But realistically, this conversation isn't usually, Hon, what do you want tonight? You want to drive through McDonald's or go to Outback?
Yeah.
That's not typically. They're different experiences.
And that's we should have used that example.
Yeah,
because that's like, it's 2 different demographics for the people that consume them at different times too. If it's date night, McDonald's customers might go to McDonald's, for a nice date night out.
Yeah.
A nice break from things. And Outback customers are going to go to a nice restaurant and have, that for date night. There's no value judgment there. It's a different market. It's the $7 T-shirt or it's the $25 T-shirt.
Yeah, and it's a matter. So for some, it's a matter of preference. For some people, it's a matter of
budget.
Time, budget. You get out of McDonald's for $12, and Outback Steakhouse you spent $50.
Or that McDonald's may be the only restaurant within 15 miles of your house.
So there's a distance factor. There's Outback Steakhouse is going to sell alcohol. So maybe you want to go out and you want to have wine or beer with your meat food.
I'm gonna have to move. I'm gonna have to move.
And
okay, so really, because I'm getting hungry, beat the competition, evaluating your competitors to find out if they're not competitors. I think that was a really valuable episode because we spend a lot of time talking to people that are afraid because they see something for cheaper. And it's hard to convince you guys that they're not competition unless one of your customers buys from them instead. So listen to that episode. It's a good one.
And then the 97 is rebranding, restructuring, reinvesting. It's kind of, do you need to change something in your business after you evaluated your competition, and how to do that.
Yeah.
And this could be an exercise that you go through maybe annually.
Yep.
You always look at your business, you look at your competition, then you say, okay, my competition is changing. Should I?
Yes.
And we talked about a lot of examples.
Yeah, we used to, Walmart moves into your town, and and you run a convenience store. It's that. So there are a lot of things that happen, and what I like is the idea of being systematic and being prepared for the consequences, not panicking, not changing things before they need changed.
Yep. Yeah. So and then the last one in that was episode 98, turn your competitors into partners.
Yep.
I mean, that's just a fantastic little move you can make, where it's your competitors now become your friends and your colleagues, whether you outsource to each other or you refer to each other, or at least you're friendly.
I wish I would have. I could remember the stats, but I think we did the survey in the Custom Apparel Startups Facebook group, which, by the way, hit 10,000 members recently.
Yeah, congratulations. That was you.
No, okay, yeah, it was.
Well, you did start it, though.
It was great, yeah. We did a poll and asked people if they worked with competitors, work with other vendors, and it was something like 86%.
Yeah,
it was a really high number. So you guys are probably doing this already, but this idea of doing it on purpose in advance of needing something.
Yep. Yeah, my father was he was a general manager for a radio station for a while, for a Spanish radio station. So it's a very small station, and they oftentimes would partner with other stations. And when they were going to do events, because the events were kind of maybe particularly expensive or bulky to do.
Right.
So they would partner with another station that you would think is your competition, because you can easily flip the dial, right?
Yep.
But they had a completely different show for a different demographic, for a different person, and maybe some people would overlap, but for the most part, it was 2 different shows for 2 different types of people, so they could do an event together and have 2 DJs there that were competing time and going live at the same time, and they were boosting and helping each other out. When in fact, you would think that they should be, mortal enemies because they're in the same time slot, type of a thing. So, great little beat the competition. I just think it's so valuable. You should know how to do it.
Yeah. So we've got 3 trilogies that are our favorites. Mm-hmm. We've got the upselling, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Upselling, making more money next month. And the Beat the Competition are all, that's 3 sets of episodes that I think are a big win for you guys if you listen to it more than once.
Yeah, great. So we've got 3 more, and then we close off on our 100th episode here. So the next one that I put in there was lessons your kids can teach you about owning a business.
Tell the story about why we did that one.
So why? Actually, can you remind me of the story about?
Yeah. Okay. I think it was you brought Ella in to spend the day with us, and ended up making some shirts together. And she was just like it kind of gave us a simple look at the business and at the processes behind it.
And so I feel like this is one that we can list. There's only a few things to list.
Go for it.
But you have to listen to the episode to get the summary of them all. But things that your kids can teach you. They're relentless. They're creatures of habit. They resist change but then adapt quickly. They know how to be cute. They get over things. They can make a best friend in 5 minutes, and they're extremely curious.
And they hate to brush their teeth for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Yes, just like your business hates to brush it.
It's true.
So these are things, and that are really they're so.
It's the basics restated.
Just basics. It's just the basics, and going through these, and I think this episode's a fun one to listen to because we've got a bunch of great little analogies and metaphors and stuff like that.
It's one of those. I knew that, but I'm still not doing it. I should probably start doing those things.
It was like getting a communications degree. I knew everything that I learned.
But now I know.
Now there's I see the reason behind it. So I think this is a fun one to listen to. It's nice and simple, and then really what I think the best part about this episode is after you listen to it, and if you start thinking in a way where you start looking at things like at the basics, and you start looking at things from that simple mind of a child, then when you're looking at problems with your business or different things that you want to do to improve your business, what's the simple answer? Like what would a kid do in this situation? And you just kind of think of that simple stuff, and then it helps to guide you in the right direction rather than being guided by stress and anxiety and fear. You can be guided by forward thinking, the forward thinking mind of a child.
So we're gonna have to do another episode. Lessons you learn of things not to do from your teenage child.
Okay.
We'll do that. All right, so that was episode 82, another good episode. Tell us about episode 78, Mr. Vila, hiring your first salesperson.
So I think that this episode is something that's, I'm going to bring it up too, but it's scary to hire your first kind of employee when you're a small business owner. Are they going to represent my business right? Can I afford it? How do I pick the right person? How do I interview them? Should I just try to get a referral? Should I ask for resumes? There's all these things that you're trying to figure out. And there's a risk. It's almost like it's more likely to fail the first time than it is to be successful if you just consider job statistics and how many jobs people have. So I think it's a good episode to kind of like help pump you up, get you ready to actually make this decision properly.
I mean, it's a good episode because when you folks out there are about to grow to the next step, or you're looking around and you're looking at your business and think, I need to spend all my time making t-shirts or doing designs. then one of the first things that people like to offload to somebody else is that sales function. So a lot of you are going to be interested, if you're not now, in hiring a salesperson, and that's where episode 78 comes in.
Yeah, and if you watch this episode on YouTube, I think it's the episode with my longest beard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the scary one?
Yeah.
It was the scary beard.
So I'm just going to read. We had 4 steps to hiring your first salesperson.
Yes.
So step 1 is you being the first one. Kind of knowing how to sell your own product and being confident in it and all that. Knowing some of the skills, then finding your critical mass. When's the time?
Yeah.
When do you make the decision to hire somebody? If that's something you want to do, then preparing for it. Step 3 is actually preparing for that. You need to have some certain things in order. Documentation or flyers.
You're gonna have to tell them what to do. You're gonna have to give them stuff to take with them.
Comp plan. And then step 4 is making the move, actually doing it. The most important part of hiring your first salesperson is actually doing it. So we talk about that. And the notes on this episode are really good. There's a lot of notes.
They are,
this,
yeah.
so,
I like that a lot. That is kind of a terrifying beard.
Yeah.
That's really, luxurious. Okay, so that was a good episode. Episode 78, hiring the first salesperson. The last of our favorites here was episode 72. Mm-hmm. Which is Profit First.
Yeah.
With Michael Michalowicz. Mm-hmm. So our only published author so far on the podcast. You can look for his book called Profit First. And
he's a good guy, too, to talk to.
He was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And, he's one of these guys that got rich and then went broke. He started his own business and basically succeeded himself into bankruptcy. And that's because he was not managing his money. He had an accountant that was speaking Accountanese, which he didn't really understand. So the conversation would go, good news, it looks like you made $100,000 last year. And Mike would look in his bank account and see nothing and ask, where is it?
Yeah.
Well, the accountant doesn't know. So he developed this system of having different bank accounts for different purposes. So really what he did was he took accounting and then he scratched that and went into the mind of an entrepreneur to figure out what's the best way to organize incoming and outgoing money.
And what's great about this, and we're all guilty of it in our personal lives, and all business owners are guilty of it too. But if you manage things correctly and you kind of know where your money sits, you get to take advantage of doing things to save you money. So, if I were to manage everything mine perfectly, I have a Costco membership. I shop at Costco. I could just buy everything in bulk, and if I store it correctly, and probably save 10-15%. Across the board and all the food that I buy at the grocery store. But it's not always convenient to do that. It's hard to manage that. It's hard to manage the supply of paper towels and chicken, You may not like that brand of hummus that they carry.
Yeah.
And so there's a challenge to doing this. And I think when you listen to this and you read this book and you listen to this episode, you're going to get a feeling and a plan of how you can actually attack the financial issues of your business and prepare yourself to take advantage of that situation.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that this works. So I've got an outside client that we did some good stuff with the marketing, but at the end of the year, she still didn't have the money in the bank that she wanted.
Oh yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. So we kind of went through it and we talked about it a little bit. My wife is an accountant, and kind of led her towards this Profit First system.
Yeah.
And immediately she got a much better sense of, oh my God, I haven't been setting aside money for my taxes. And I didn't even realize what profit was, which is the money left over after you pay everything else, by the way.
Yeah.
You pay yourself, you pay all your expenses, the money left in the bank, and there should be money left in the bank, is called profit.
And it doesn't have, it doesn't really have a job besides being profit.
Right.
It has a job one day to do something, maybe, whether it's reinvesting it or just retiring the business and taking all of it for yourself. It's got a job one day, but its job now is just to be profit.
Yeah.
And an example of how this can help you out is you've got a t-shirt printer that you got to put ink or paper or toner in, and you should be kind of divvying out your money for profit and supplies and things like that, and that when it's time to go ahead and buy more of this, you've got the money to do it. And we have a paper savers club at Coleman & Company. So if you have digital heat effects, if you've got a toner printer,
it is a smoking deal. You guys have to do that.
You sign up for an auto shipment, which is it's much easier on our staff here.
Yep.
It's easy to predict how many orders are going to come in a day, in a month. So there's a lot of benefits to us. It
reduces our overhead orders. A lot. Right.
It reduces overhead. So we get to pass that back to the customer and offer a huge savings.
Yep.
Well, we have folks that whether they're managed by fear because they're not sure if they're going to have the money in the bank, or they don't manage their money well, or for whatever reason, they're not in there. So they pay more money.
Yeah.
And you only have to buy like 6 boxes a year to qualify. So we have people not in the program, don't want to be in the program, who buy 15 boxes a year.
Right.
So if you add up that money, they would have saved, I'm not going to do the math, over $1,000.
Yeah, over $1,000.
Yeah, they would have saved over $1,000 just by if you do this profit first, then that money is in that account for supplies. You don't have to worry about buying it.
Yeah.
When it's time to buy it, but instead you kind of live by this fear, and then you overspend, and so there's a lot of lessons to learn in this episode. That's just one of them.
Yeah, I agree. This is one of my favorites. Mike was a great guest. The book is good, and I think we did a good job of taking, the kind of principles behind managing your money for your business and applying it to the custom apparel business.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's great. I'm going to tell some more stats here about the podcast.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. For those of you that want to geek out a little bit.
So
for the three of you that are still listening,
we've got one person in Nepal, and one person in Peru, and one person in United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
One person in Iceland, one person in Kenya.
Listen.
Yeah, so to all of you listening, thank you
for
being
really
the representation of your country, because you're doing a great job by listening.
Yeah, that's right. You are probably the best educated custom t-shirt operator in your nation.
And most people are listening to this on an Apple device.
Right.
Apple makes it very easy. So if you're listening through one of these other things that you have to that are clunky to actually get to our episode a little bit, thank you so much for spending the time and dealing with that.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it. And let me see if there's anything else interesting that we've read here. Most people are in the United States. Is that surprising?
Yes.
Okay.
It is surprising. Because we all have cable.
Yeah.
So you don't have to listen. I think one of the things that I really like is just the variety of countries, and we get to talk to you guys sometimes. We get questions. We have a bunch of you that have signed up for the custom apparel T-shirt business course and the GIMP course, and we hear a lot from you on the group and everything, and it's amazing the variety of people that are in this business. I mean, Mark pulled up the map here. A surprising number of people in California.
Yeah.
It's probably the third largest country that listens to us outside the United States.
But we have people on our map. We've got people everywhere. So we've got people in Minnesota, in every state.
Yeah.
We've got somebody in every. We got lots of people in every state.
We've got one person in Wyoming.
Yeah. There's one spot. That's where the city is.
That's where the city is. That's where they get the internet.
But no, we appreciate it no matter where you are. So if you're in New York City or LA, in a big city, and you're listening to us, or you're in the center of the country, and downloading this took forever because they haven't caught up on your internet speed yet.
Right.
We appreciate all you. So the best thing you can do for us, if we feel like we've given you something great, is to share these episodes with other small business owners. Share them online. Give people an opportunity to get some good advice that hopefully you've gotten. Right, you've listened to 100 episodes. There must be something you get out of it, right?
Or you've listened to the 100th episode.
Yeah,
that's
and
great.
Also go ahead and go on the Facebook group and participate and ask good questions.
Yeah,
ask questions that you feel would be a topic on this podcast, because you'll inspire us to answer that, and you'll get the good answers you want. So many people want to ask what a font is or where to get a shirt.
Yeah.
Those
will get deleted. That's not really a conversation.
And that's not going to help you make more money and reach the dreams of whatever your business is.
Yeah.
Whether it's money or independence or all of those things. So that's good. We've got 100 episodes done now.
Yeah, I know. It's
Wow.
literally 100 hours.
Yeah. So what do we do now?
I think we do 101.
101? Okay, let's start
101.
back at episode 1.
Okay.
And just go through all those topics again.
We should just skip to episode like 312. We're published to episode 312. No, we just skipped the 211.
Yeah, we skipped all the 1s and 2s.
All right, guys. I would like to say also thanks for listening. We appreciate it. It's a pleasure to talk to you out there, and hope you're getting a lot out of the podcast. Look forward to the next 100 episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, everybody.
This has been Mark Stevenson for ColDesi.
And Mark Vila from Coleman & Company.
Have a great 100 episode business.
Yes, century business.
Century business. Bye.